my esteemed teachers, Principal Ma'am, Vice Principal Ma'am, Saroj Ma'am. I am really overwhelmed to be here today. This place has been my school, my alma mater, and give back something to the school is my biggest privilege. And one thing I would like to begin by addressing all of you is to say that your children are in extremely excellent hands. I must say that because while growing up, there wasn't a moment where I felt I couldn't approach any single teacher over here if I was feeling nervous or if I was feeling on the edge. I see all of the beautiful teachers here who have taught me, and it is extremely overwhelming for me to be here and to be able to thank them from my deepest heart, so that I could come back here and give back to the school today. So thank you so much, everybody. If I start taking names, it's going to be a long talk, but yeah. So today's topic is about positive parenting. When we talk about positive parenting, this particular session, the next 30-45 minutes, will be derived from a program which is actually curated by a university in Australia. So these people, they researched for decades. It's an evidence-based model. So these people researched over decades what creates or what develops successful, wealthy, emotionally regulated and career-driven students. So they did this research across different countries over a period of time, and they found out 5 core principles of positive parenting. So we're going to be talking about, taking a deep dive into those 5 core principles of positive parenting today. And we're going to keep a separate time for questions. I'll be happy to answer as many questions as possible. Okay, so to begin with, what are those 5 core aspects of positive parenting, right? Like what leads to developing healthy, happy children? So these are the 5 core principles. First is to create a safe, interesting environment. Second, to have a positive learning environment. Third, being use of assertive discipline. Fourth, having realistic expectations and taking care of yourself as a parent. But before we delve into this, I was wondering, can we take a moment to just remember our own childhood? Right, like while growing up, what did you remember while growing up about your childhood? What were the parts that you think really stood out for you during your childhood? Could anybody share? Would anybody like to share? Any parent who would? Yes, ma'am.
Can we get the mic?
Oh, thank you.
Ma'am, what I feel is that, while I was growing up, I used to get a lot of time for free play. It's like, I feel that, I used to play a lot with my siblings, my friends, my neighbors. But nowadays what I feel is that, we as parents, we want our children to do everything. As in like, I want my daughter to dance also, sing also, and then sports, everything. So how do I strike a balance, I mean, those fun days I remember playing in the mud, doing silly things. So I try to give that to my daughter, but but back of my mind, I feel like, what if, I regret it later on, like all the other kids are going for karate classes and what's not. And I'm in a position, I'm in a dilemma that, am I doing the right thing? I'm also trying to do what I used to do during my childhood, and I'm doing the same thing. So am I being old school? This is
Yeah, sure. Thank you for your question. Thank you for sharing that. It's such an important reflection what ma'am just shared. And what I also hear is when we were growing up, like when all of the parents here were growing up, versus when our kids are growing up, the times are so different, right? Like, it's literally poles apart. And how we used to parent then may work differently now. But yes, Ma'am, I hear you. Free play is absolutely essential, in my opinion. And there might be times when we might be tempted to look at this child is doing that, that child is engaging in 10 different extracurriculars, and it might be tempting to compare. However, parenting, I feel, is very personal, and it's very unique to each and everybody. So how you feel is the right way. Just have a conversation with your child about maybe how they are feeling about it. Acknowledge their feelings and emotions about whether they would like to explore different activities. What is it that they would enjoy in their leisure time? Maybe they are not meant for karate. Maybe they are meant for other different things, right? So it's important to have an open dialogue, and we'll come back to the strategies also. So thank you for that sharing. Anybody else who would like to reflect on how their childhood was growing up and versus how different it is now? Yes, sir. I see your hand there.
Good morning all. So for me it was like my childhood was in a village, right? It was a remote village in West Bengal. So there was no limitation, there was no restriction. From morning to evening I used to play as much as possible, right? My grandparents used to run behind me, this is breakfast time, this is lunch time, you have to come back, you have to take your bath and everything on, right? And nowadays we have a lot of expectation from our kids. But for me, I am a little blessed on that. We do not have to ask to her about that specific time, about what she has to do. So she is very smart enough, and most of the child these days are like that only. So they know their things, how they have to cope up with things, and like whether it is academics or extracurricular activities. So that's what my story of my childhood.
Thank you so much for that important sharing, sir. I feel like, so how many of us feel like we had a much more easy childhood and it's difficult for our children today? Most of us feel that way. And the reason absolutely lies in so much exposure, social media, access to devices, access to so many more things early on, which are perhaps sometimes not age appropriate. So we're going to take a deep dive into that. Thank you for all your sharings. So the first, I'll talk about the first core principle of positive parenting by this model, which is to create a safe, interesting environment. Now, how many of you remember when your kids were like toddlers growing up, and you had to like baby-proof the house, you had to make sure that the corners don't hit the baby doesn't get into danger in the kitchen area, they should not open the drawers readily, right? So you remember baby-proofing the house as the baby was growing up. Now that I think most of the children that the audience over here, the parents over here have, are aged between 10 to 12, if I'm not wrong. So, right, so between the age of 10 to 12, that definition of safety changes. It's no longer taking care of, the drawers or the edges at house, but it's more about, very importantly, personal safety, body safety, talking to them about body boundaries, right? Like, I think in today's time and age, it's extremely, extremely essential to sit them down and just have a conversation with them about, okay, boundaries. What is your personal bubble like? And nobody should enter that personal bubble without your consent. So I believe the school is, I know the school has a wonderful counseling team. So they will also be taking sessions with children on POCSO, educating them about, okay, what are the laws in place for their safety, and if they are feeling that their body safety is under, question or is being compromised, they can reach out to the school counselor. So they have a wonderful comprehensive school counseling program, which is going to ensure that. But at home, we can also sit them down and have a conversation. There are multiple resources available. Perhaps I can share with Aishwarya ma'am after the session to sort of pass it on. And you can have a conversation, you can ask them questions about what is safety for them. Okay, second, routines. How many of our children have like a structured routine or a timetable? We do? Yeah. So some of us prefer not to have a routine, which is okay. But the importance of a routine is basically that it ensures some predictability and structure to children. And children love structure. They feel regulated when there is structure. They feel calm when they know what they are to do and when. And by that, I don't essentially mean telling them, okay, from 4 to 4:30 you're going to do this, and 5 to 5:30 you're going to do that, and trying to like swamp them up with a lot of things to do. But I do mean maybe just sitting them down and having a conversation about, okay, maybe school is starting for you now. So what are you looking forward to in school? And what are some of the things that you are scared about? Let's have a conversation about that. Let's talk about what will help you to feel more settled. What will help you? How can I as a parent help you? They need that. They need that sense of certainty. They need that sense of support. And when it comes from the parents, I feel it's very reassuring, right? Otherwise, they go seek it outside, and we don't want that. Third, okay, this is an open question again. Remember the last time when you praised your child for something? Today only? That's amazing. Research shows that 60 to 70% of the times we are correcting children. Don't do this, don't do that, look at your hair, what have you done to your hair? Look at your room, what a mess you've made. So maybe it's time to also shift the focus to connecting with your child and start asking, when was the last time I just said, hey, wow, look, your room is so organized. Thank you for cleaning up your toys without me asking you to do so. Wow, you did your homework today very well and on time. Thank you for doing that without me reminding you to do so. So just genuine praise makes so much of a difference to children. It makes their whole day. And they remember that and they look forward to that the next time. Okay, the second principle of positive parenting looks like creating a positive learning environment. So these are few things that we see on the screen. So the first thing is chat and listen often. Again, showing genuine, deep interest in the world of a child, because the child's world is different. Let's acknowledge that first. They are thinking of the next Beyblade to buy. They are thinking of which movie can I watch next with my friends? What mischief can I be up to next? So their world is different. So let's take a pause and understand, are we showing interest in their world? And their narrative. So sit with them, talk to them, and I work with an 8-year-old where I work right now, and I was having a chat with the mum. So the parents are both working in multinational companies in Gurgaon, so they don't have a lot of time to give the child. So we were just having a conversation how can your child feel more connected to you now that you have such a busy schedule. So what can you do essentially? So we came up with a strategy. It's called drop everything and read. Dear. So what they do every night, the mom comes back by like 10ish, dad comes even later. Some of the days they're lucky to have work from home, but whenever they find time, They sit down, drop everything, and read together. They sit down, they put their devices away, and they engage in just eating dinner together. So that itself makes the child want to be with you, want to share with you, right? So that's a very powerful technique. Share your own experiences. I think this one is so underrated. Imagine you as a child going back to your parent and telling when you were a child, right? And saying that, okay, I had this difficulty at school, so I got into a fight at school. And if your parents would have told you that, oh look, it happened the same way with me. When I was going from grade 5 to grade 6, I was also very nervous because it was a huge change for me, you know. So that gives them the reassurance that my parent, who's my role model, is also in a similar boat, has been through the same things. So makes them more resilient. Use descriptive praise. I will share something personal here. So I have a 1.5-year-old baby niece at home. She's like the center of our universe these days. So what we do with her is, so sometimes, you know, I would give her sketch pens and she has a box where she would place them back. So kabhi she doesn't put them back, she just makes a whole mess because obviously she's just 1.5 years old. So what we try to do with her is whenever she puts them back on her own, we tell her that, okay, Aru, you know, you put the sketch pens back and that's amazing. You did them without us asking you. She smiles, she understands, she smiles, she recognizes that, and then we often, you know, sometimes reward her with her favorite snack. So we tell her exactly what she did right, and we then try to reward her that this is what your reward is for. So that is also a very powerful tool to think about it, that describe what they have done right and help them reflect back on what they did right, and then tell them that we are praising you, or we are proud of you because you did this right. And I'm sure there are so many things children do right on a day-to-day basis. We just sometimes tend to overlook them. Okay, do we all have our phones with us? There's a quick poll I would like for all of us to do. I know it's too much talking. You can just scan the code or log on to mentimeter.com and just add this code. To complete those quick questions. While Sir just tries to display the results, I think the first question was about misbehaving? Yeah? Okay. So children misbehave when they want to, or you know, they can't control their misbehavior. How many of us did agree? Okay. Okay. Somewhat or no? How many of us are unsure? Okay, I see a few hands for being unsure as well. So, which is great. Thank you for submitting the responses. So, when we talk about children not behaving the way which is desirable, it is mostly coming from somewhere. If a child is lying or being dishonest about anything, say a child comes home and tells you, oh, I've done the homework, but they've not done the homework. You find that out, there might be a cause to that. There is an underlying cause to that. Maybe they are too scared to tell you that they've not done the homework. Maybe they are too scared of, or maybe they are too confused or don't know how to begin. So they find it just easy to say that in the moment that yes, I've done the homework, right? And that often comes from somewhere. So understanding that there is an undesirable behavior, but there is a root cause to this, allows us to be more mindful, helps us to connect with them a little bit better. Can I have a look at the second question, please? Okay. Here, now, how many of us wish that our children were more disciplined? Disciplined. How many of us wish that? That our children were more disciplined? I see a lot of teachers also raising hands. Of course, now my heart goes out. Yeah. So, discipline is such a thing that is often very big in the heart of a child. Now, for example, I'll give you this example. Again, an 8-year-old child, boy. I work with him. The mother is a single parent, right? What is happening is the teachers often complain that, you know, the child doesn't sit in class, often misbehaves, disrupts the class, absolutely just wants to get up and run out of the class at times. So that disturbs the flow of the class. And when we talk to the child, often his narrative is, my mom doesn't have time for me. You know, and for him, in his mind, that is the only way to gather the attention of children in his class. Because attention to बच्चों को चाहिए, right? So कहीं से तो they will gather that attention and validation. So what really is happening in this world of the child is that my mom doesn't have time for me at home. So therefore I'm going to go in the class, do all this and get attention of the children. And all eyes on me. So he said this out loud. Ma'am, I love misbehaving. I love it. I'm just going to, he tells me this. I'm waiting for the Hindi class so I can misbehave. And I'm like, okay, let's figure it out together. So he's not coming from a bad place, you see, right? He's just wanting some love, some attention, some appreciation for his being. So of course we're working with the mom and helping them figure out, and mom also is just trying to make the ends meet, trying to work, fend for the house. So I get that also, right? So it's a tough space to figure out. But when it comes to discipline, I think the key thing is to set limits, to set some limits and consequences, but let them know of that first, right? Like let them know that okay, you know, screen time. How many of us deal with excessive screen time at home? I think all of us. Yeah, so that's such a big challenge in today's time and age, especially since COVID times. It has really changed, right? Like schools were also online, so you could not have said no phones, no TV and no laptops, right? So, but now that we're back to the offline space, how can we navigate this whole thing? Number one is to set some boundaries at home, set some rules at home, but calmly and politely. Of course, coming from a space of that, okay, I'm worried and concerned about your eyes. I'm concerned about what kind of games you're looking into. This one parent that I was having a chat with day before, she said that, you know, my child is being really restless and seems a bit lost and irritable these days. So I was just having a chat about his schedule and what is he doing at home. He's in grade 3. So she said that, ma'am, he is actually looking into a lot of YouTube these days. And though it's just YouTube Kids, like they have set those controls at home, then the child can only access YouTube Kids, not Shorts, not YouTube or regular Netflix or any other OTT, yet the child is coming from that place. So understand there's always a link between screen time and impulsivity, screen time and risk-taking behaviors, screen time and aggression, because the content out there is very violent if we see. Right? So set those boundaries. It's okay for them to use phones. It's okay, we cannot take them away from that right now that we've given it to them. But we can sit with them and say, okay, what is it that you would like? You know, how much time would you need to use the phone or your devices for? So that really helps. Okay. But what also I feel is happening is when we try to discipline the child, we try to forget that the connection matters more. And I believe now, us teachers also, as parents also, if we connect with the child, if we build a relationship with the child first, they are going to listen. So, and why does it always happen that, if the parents are only telling the child that do this, do that, always correcting, always coming from a place of, this was not okay, or always criticizing, the child grows up to be rebellious, or the child grows up to be not listening to them. So the moment we connect, that's at the bottom of the triangle, the pyramid. So develop positive relationships with children first. Next comes that you encourage positive behavior, model that for them. A lot of children in today's time and age, they say, oh, आप तो phone use कर रहे हो तो हम क्यों ना करें? First, we got to learn that they will look at you, they will look up to you, they will model what we are doing as adults. Right? So and a lot of children ask these questions up front. That okay, my mom also does it, my dad also does it. The other day a child said, my mom bought an expensive designer bag that was for so and so rupees. Why can't she just get me this 50,000 rupee Beyblade if she can get that bag for herself? Right? So again, they have so many questions. So the moment we try to become a positive model for them, it makes their life and your life easier. Okay. Yeah. This one is, I think, really important because when they move to grade 6, their academic pressure, rigor really increases from primary years, right? Like primary May, they were much more. I was having a chat with Ashwarya ma'am also. So ma'am was saying that yes, they are more supported. They have a mother teacher in primary. Now suddenly they will be asked to be more independent. Much more is expected out of them suddenly when they move to middle school. Right? So it's a good idea to set some realistic expectations with the child, which are age appropriate also. Right? Now please understand that also every child has unique abilities, unique strengths, and no two children, even if they are twins, would be the same. So it's alright for them to move at their own pace as long as that is giving them a sense of achievement, empowerment. Also talk to them about what is it that you would like to do, and also praise the progress. We just praise the end result sometimes. We just look at, okay, you went for so and so competition, if you did not win, theek hai, koi baat nahi. But then the child made it to the competition in the first place amongst a huge school. He or she was the one who was selected to represent the school. That's also a big thing. So even if they don't make it to the competition, they're showing up and going for class every day. That's also a big thing. So try to acknowledge and validate the progress of their own progress. Not ki okay, this child is XYZ child se better or not. Right? It only matters that your child is doing better, is making progress than what they were yesterday. Okay. This is extremely important. I feel this is the 5th core principle of positive parenting, which is taking care of your own needs and your own self first. I think as parents, parenting first of all is a full-time job. So hats off to all of you who are sitting here. It is actually a full-time profession, I feel. I look at my sister, my parents, and I see how much effort they are putting in to that. Right? So take a moment, pause. It's okay to pause and it's okay to sit back and have rest days for yourself. We can't run on an empty cup. We can't run the car without fuel. So if we are going to come back home angry, maybe frustrated at times from our work and take it out on our child, that's also not okay. I know there are days like that, but what is really happening there is the child is getting the message that I am not wanted or I am not loved. So it's also a good idea to take those time for yourself, pause, do the things that you like and you love, take care of your physical health, your mental health, and your emotional well-being, most importantly. And with that, we have a small activity. Okay, pause. Now, for Ram Sam Sam, we're going to just tap on our thigh. Just tap on thigh like this. Like this. Okay? Yeah. So next. Pause, please pause. Okay. Thank you. We're just circling our hands like that. Okay. And the fourth and the final step. Okay, this is the fourth and final one. So this is the action we are doing for around here. The sleeping gesture. Okay? So can we play the actual video now?
Let's sing along to the silly, silly Ram Sam song. Oh, Ram Sam Sam, oh, Ram Sam Sam, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam, oh, Ram Sam Sam, oh, Ram Sam Sam, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam, oh, Robbie, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam, oh, Robbie, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam. Arms up high, reach for the sky. If you wanna be a Ram Sam master, you got to go a little faster. Oh, Ram Sam Sam, oh, Ram Sam Sam, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam, oh, Ram Sam Sam, oh, Ram Sam Sam, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam, oh, Robbie, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam, oh, Robbie, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam. Arms up high, reach for the sky. If you wanna be a Ram Sam master, you got to go a little faster. Oh, Ram Sam Sam, oh, Ram Sam Sam, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam, oh, Ram Sam Sam, oh, Ram Sam Sam, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam, oh, Robbie, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam, oh, Robbie, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam. Arms up high, reach for the sky. If you wanna be a Ram Sam master, you got to go a little faster. Oh, Ram Sam Sam, oh, Ram Sam Sam, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam, oh, Ram Sam Sam, oh, Ram Sam Sam, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam, oh, Robbie, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam, oh, Robbie, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam. Arms up high, reach for the sky. If you wanna be a Ram Sam master, you got to go a little faster. Oh, Ram Sam Sam, oh, Ram Sam Sam, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam, oh, Ram Sam Sam, oh, Ram Sam Sam, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam, oh, Robbie, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam, oh, Robbie, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam. Arms up high, reach for the sky. If you wanna be a Ram Sam master, you got to go a little faster. Oh, Ram Sam Sam, oh, Ram Sam Sam, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam, oh, Ram Sam Sam, oh, Ram Sam Sam, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam, oh, Robbie, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam, oh, Robbie, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam. Arms up high, reach for the sky. If you wanna be a Ram Sam master, you got to go a little faster. Oh, Ram Sam Sam, oh, Ram Sam Sam, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam, oh, Ram Sam Sam, oh, Ram Sam Sam, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam, oh, Robbie, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam, oh, Robbie, gooey, 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 Ram Sam Sam. Arms up high, reach for the sky.
This gave you some insights about what parenting looks like, and all of you are doing a great job. Like I said, it's a full-time job to be a parent, and please give yourself full credit for all that you're doing every single day. You're showing up for your children every single day. That's most important, and I wish you great luck for the new academic year, grade 6. And yes, if there are any questions, I'll be happy to take those. Thank you.
मेरी एक डॉटर यहाँ तो पढ़ी रही है, एक 12th क्लास में है, एंड अभी रिसेंटली कई कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्ज़ाम में अपेयर की है और अचीवमेंट्स में अच्छा रैंक नहीं आया. तो आई वॉज वरीड, लेकिन समहाउ आई मैनेज टू एश्योर कि देयर इज़ नथिंग रॉन्ग. बहुत सारे एग्ज़ाम्स और भी हैं, तो तो मैं बस ये जानना चाहता हूँ, बच्चे जब फेल होते हैं किसी चीज़ में और सक्सीड नहीं कर पाते हैं, मैं तो उनको ऐसे और कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन बच्चा वाकई में मेरे एश्योरेंस को समझ पा रहा है, पॉजिटिवली ले पा रहा है, या उसको ये एश्योरेंस वाकई में मिल रहा है कि हाँ मेरे पापा मतलब वरीड नहीं है और मुझे अपनी इच्छा शक्ति फिर से मजबूत करनी है, आई हैव टू गेट ऑन टू द स्टडी। तो ये चीज़ मुझे जानना है। और दूसरा कि भाई बच्चे को और किस तरह से इंकरेज किया जा सके सो डैट वो दोबारा, क्योंकि सेम चीज़ आप हर एग्ज़ाम में सेम चीज़ पढ़ते हो, तो हर एग्ज़ाम में आप मे भी हो सकता है कि एक पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम आप सैचुरेटेड फील करो कि यार इसको तो मैंने पढ़ा ही है और पढ़ने के बाद भी नहीं हो पा रहा है। तो ऐसा तो नहीं बच्चा कहीं डिमोटिवेट हो के जस्ट वो बुक रखने की एक्टिंग कर रहा हो और कुड नॉट गेट ऑन टू द स्टडीज मोर सीरियसली। तो ये कैसे इसको मोर इंकरेज किया जा सके और कैसे इसको एश्योरेंस दिलाया जा सके कि हाँ आई एम विद यू। थैंक यू।
Thank you, sir, for the question. Firstly, कोई भी बच्चा by default, I think ये सीख के नहीं आता कि हम फेलियर को कैसे हैंडल करें। So it's also a life skill कि वो फेलियर को फेलियर की तरह ना देखें और उसको परसीव फेलियर की तरह ना करें। First of all, rather it's just a stepping stone to where they want to be. So sure, there's a goal in mind that yes, I have to crack competitive exams, and यहाँ पे आपका support is pivotal, I feel, because naturally if the parents are being supportive and saying कोई बात नहीं, you know, even that allows them to bounce back, right? Like because they tried really hard and competitive exams are really hard. Let's face it, there is so much competition out there, जिसकी वजह से they feel very stressed, जिसकी वजह से they might feel like you know, I'm all over the place, I'm not good enough. तो ऐसे जो thoughts आते हैं, I feel to tackle them is the biggest challenge, and that can be done with a lot of support systems. So parents, teachers, if they can reach out to the school counselors about this, I think that is extremely important so that they learn to bounce back and not perceive it like, okay, you know, one exam is not the end of life. It is not. Like, trust me, we all know that academic success is important, but it's not the only predictor of success in life also. There are so many case studies of people who you see school mein, college mein, they did not score very well, but they are doing immensely well in their lives. So it's also about is it her calling? Is that what she wants to do? If yes, let's help her identify those support systems, give her that backing, give her that reassurance, we are still going to love you, no matter what, if she wants to try. And I think also help her, like ma'am said, maybe with the conceptual clarity, if that is helpful or not, like, you know, wherever she's getting support, coaching center pe, tuitions pe, is she able to grasp that well? How is that going? Have a conversation with them, like the coaching centers and all also, because sometimes they put a lot of pressure on child which is undue and unnecessary, and you know, if we need to strike a balance, like ma'am also mentioned, between academics, physical activity, and also emotional support is the biggest thing. If the child is doing well emotionally na, academics apne aap conquer ho jata hai, I feel. So if they have that inner strength to bounce back, to come back and say, hey look, it was just an exam, I'm going to give it another shot if I want to, if I really want to. If not, that's also not the end of the world. There are so many things children do beyond academics which are like, you know, which build them up or shape them up in ways we cannot even imagine. So there are 70,000 careers in the world. That's also something I learned recently, and we know only 5-6 of them. We can count them on our fingertips ki kitne careers hai, but there are ample opportunities. So give her that reassurance and help her bounce back. I think school counselors are also a good support system for her, because they'll help her navigate this challenge and bounce back from this time and space. So I hope that helps.